Hi, everybody! It is Into the Fire's birthday! Can you believe it? 6 years in the making, and I'm still blown away. So, I have some links in that. One is where you can buy Into the Fire right now. You can read it for free if you have Kindle, unlimited, and yeah. Also, the other link is there's some new merch with the cover. So the new cover. Uh, thank you, Jen. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna babble a bit today, but if you have any questions, you can go ahead and send me those. Um, there's also a Pinterest board that I have of the inspiration, which I'm gonna be looking at a lot. Um, So here's the Pinterest board. I usually have a Pinterest board for every book because I'm a Pinterest fiend. Um, absolutely love Pinterest, and it's often my search engine of choice. Oh, thank you, honey. Um, so yeah, so let's get into how the whats and the wheres and the whys. So 6 years ago, our life sort of got flips turned upside down, or well, 7 years ago, actually, I think. Yeah, something like that. Late, late in that year. Our man, someone treated us like a snow globe and shook us up. Um, we lost income, we lost loved ones, we lost our place we were living. We had to rush and try to find this place. We were very, very lucky. Um, and I mean, it was a nightmare. And I dropped out of college. I was working on my psych major. I was working on my bachelor's. I was almost finished. Um, sold my car because we didn't need an extra car to maintain, put gas in, pay insurance for. Yeah, we just didn't need that. So, um, yeah, it was major change. And we were literally in survival mode. And I fully admit at the time I was super depressed and hanging on. And I am so proud of Jen, so proud of her. And every day she shows me ways that she is awesome. And so I lost myself in either I was reading on the couch, doing housework, or I was watching a show. And that show was Leverage. I know every episode. I know every episode to the point where I once had a ringtone of it saying, "Damn it, Hardison." Damn it, Wayman. And I knew exactly what episode that was and what moment. Because it was the moment where Elliot had blast caps in his pockets. And he asked Hardison, "What's the range?" And Hardison's like, very iffy about it because he knows Elliot's going to freak out. And sure enough, he freaks out and he's like, "Damn it, Hardison, I have them in my pockets, man." And yeah, I mean, I knew the show backwards and forwards. So, some of you may know that the inspiration for Travis is Christian Kane, who is currently playing still. I mean, they're still putting out, they have Leverage Redemption right now. And so he's still playing Elliot Spencer. And I fell in love with Christian Kane, and I'm a bit of a stalker. Not the crazy stalker that thinks that you'll fall in love with me or anything like that. But I will look into you, and I will look into what you're into, what you're doing, and the things you want fans to look into, like the fact that he's also a singer-songwriter. He has an album out. He's supposedly working on a second one. Um, and the album has out is House Rules, I think it is. I know that's a song on the album. I think it's House Rules. Just look up Kane or Christian Kane on your music, wherever you buy music. He's also written other songs for other artists. Um, and so I admit, I use it a lot. Because I sat down and I was thinking, wouldn't it be really interesting if I had a character like Christian Kane and a character who was a chef but was tired of the whole way, because I was also watching shows like and Bourdain's shows where he goes off and does things, and cooking shows with Jen and things like that. And so we know how the industry works. And so I was like, what if a character that he got with, what if she was a chef but she was a line, on the line, and so you're under a head chef who's a famous chef, and so anything that comes out of that kitchen is under that chef's name. So even if you create something, if you create it and it gets put out in his restaurant, it's his or theirs. There are some that won't do that, but that is rare. Um, so I was like, she wants a more personal relationship with the people who eat her food, and so that's where Raven came from. I kind of gave her an interesting mom. I kind of did a mix between Jen's mom and some other friends' moms. uh, if you haven't caught on, I have a lot of mom issues in the books. Because, and then I knew who her best friend was going to be. And Mallory popped in my head from a book series, Seals Inc., I think it is, or no. But she was a character in a book, and I absolutely loved her. And I was like, oh, I need this little Spitfire in the book series. She needs to be Raven's best friend, her biggest, cheerleader, and that kind of thing. Tony is the bodyguard, and Tony is my Captain America character. He's a good guy, and book series by. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. What? The book series by Mia Diamond had the character that I based Mallory off of. Not to be confused with the porn star Mia Diamond. Not the porn star Mia Diamond, the author. And I knew I was going to base it in Seattle. And I've been to Seattle. My best friend took me to Seattle as kind of a birthday present. Yeah, I think it was kind of a birthday present. She took me to Seattle. We went. It was a girls trip. I think we spent a week almost in Seattle. Um, we had a blast, uh, and I did fall in love with Seattle. I fell in love with the environment. It's absolutely gorgeous. The air, fabulous. The weather, oh my God, it was, yes, it was a birthday present because I remember they were complaining a little bit about the weather, and we were like, it's 100 and something at home and 90% humidity. Do not complain. But we had a fantastic trip, and since things I learned uh, when Leverage was supposedly in Portland, um, they've Travis bought a place because they were there so much, and then he ended up filming Librarians in Portland. So yeah, he got a place. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna set it in Seattle. Um, I'm going to base these characters off of these people. Um, I came up with the house, Travis's house, and I knew it was going to become a series because I particularly love to read series where you get to follow people whose books have already been written, um, but you get to find out more about them. And so I picked out his colors and things. I did a bunch of research about Seattle. I knew he was a foodie because Christian Kane is also a foodie. He had a cooking show, only one season, but they're supposed to try to get it back to do another one. Um, so if you look at the Pinterest board, there's a lot of recipes in the Pinterest board, and some of these recipes end up in the book because I had to look up food that she would make because she's a chef. Um, I also found out that there is a convention for kind of crime shows um, that Lurch has been to several times, and I was like, okay, so she works at a hotel, at a restaurant in the hotel, because some hotels have famous restaurants, and I was like, okay, so they're going to host a convention. That's how they're going to meet. And I chose the Ballard area of Seattle for Travis's home. And I picked locations. I like to pull up Google Maps when people are driving, so I know and I can tell you. And I've had some readers who said I lived in Seattle or I live in Seattle, and yes, I know exactly where you're talking about. I also had a picture of what Travis's outdoor kitchen looks like. Um, colors, all sorts of things. So it's a great a little I even have a mood board for the house, um, which is the centerpiece for every book. Everybody goes to Travis and Raven's house. They are the core couple. Um, Sometimes some of the songs that are the band's songs are actually songs from Christian Kane's repertoire. So if you can pick up on those, you can almost find what songs they are. So yeah, there was a night as I was writing it, I knew it was going to be a series. I pulled out this big sheet of graph paper, kind of like one of those teacher big sheets that goes up on the stand. So I pulled it out, had it on the coffee table, and it's just, all right, this is book one's couple, and this is what's going to happen, and this is book two, and this is who's going to be in book two, and this is where everybody's going to be. And I mapped out the 9-book series, and we are on book 3. We have Book 3 is out. So have already mostly drafted book 4. So, yeah. And more stuff happens. And Raven and Travis will, of course, be in book 4. And so will Tony and Anna. And so will Steve and Mallory. And everybody else. And we keep adding more people. More and more people keep getting added. Um, but I do promise you this year I am working on a standalone, though it is in the same universe as the Fire series. And there will be a little sneaky peeky. Um, but yes, it is in the same universe, but it is a standalone. And of course, I've got some new merch with a new cover. I knew I wanted to change some things. Um, and things like that. And of course, because of the new cover for the third book, the third cover looked so much different than the other two that we thought it was time to get them all to look the same. And so, especially for the box set coming out. And so that's why we got a new cover, which some people were like, the original cover, they were like, what's with this bouquet? And I'm like, it's from the one it's the one bouquet in the whole story. And at the time, I really didn't have access to eyes that would create pictures. So, um, but yeah, I still can't believe it's been 6 years. And the bamboo behind me, I bought the day I published, or the week that I published the book. And it is still going strong. And because of this book, I started my own publishing company. And so I have been a small business owner for 6 years. And I found that out the other day when I went to the bank. And we looked up when I opened my bank account. And I fully admit, I used um, the money that came in from um, it was the help during the pandemic. You remember those checks that came out to everybody? I used that money to open my business because I thought, if nothing else, I'll invest it in myself. And I have not regretted it at all. Not one bit have I regretted starting my own business. This is not the first business I have started, but so far it's the most successful. Um, and I'm about to reach my next big milestone, which is to have the box set out. And after that, my next milestone is to have a booth where I sell my work and talk to the public at a local event. So hopefully that will be marked off this year. I'm hoping two things will get marked off this year, two uh, milestones. And it's not been easy. And there are times that, especially being a romance author, you feel like you're screaming into the void. But I know every book I put out, every story I put out, every bit of it will be found. And that my audience is out there and they will find it and they will look me up and they will see what else I've written. And that's all I can do is keep trucking along. And thank you so much for being on this journey with me. And I hope we have many more years together. Um, But thank you for being here and celebrating this beautiful birthday. Um, Getting a little bit conflict. I hope you have a fantastic Valentine's Day and that you spread some of that love to yourself and that hopefully this will inspire you to do it yourself and to know that I am rooting for you 100% and I will always be rooting for you guys. No matter what your dream is, no matter what you do. Um, I want you to be as happy and I want you to know that you're not screaming into the void and that I will do everything I can to support you. And if you don't have the money to buy the book today, that's fine. If you don't have the money to buy merch today, that's okay too. But you know what you can do is you can hit like and you can hit subscribe and you can share this on your socials. You can share it with your friends. You can share it with your writing group. Um, who knows? Who knows who that this will get out to? And some of those things don't cost anything at all. And you can comment, and I will answer your comments. I promise. But I am going to let you guys go because I feel like I'm going to cry, and because I also want to take my beautiful Jen out on a date. And yeah. So here's to wishing you all the best. Mwah! And take care.